Greetings, Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to WizdomDropz, your source for daily drops of wisdom and savvy cat astrology. Today, I'm joining you from actually where I grew up. This is an amazing area. This is like one of my favorite places in the world. And I don't know if you can see, but there's some caves over here and a little like waterfall-ish action in this canyon. And so anyway, I just wanted to do a brief video for you all on this new moon in Taurus energy, just to kind of expound a little bit on where you can anticipate in your chart experiencing this deeply profound. There is a freaking stork. Did you just see the stork, y'all? I so totally hope that I aimed the camera right and that you saw that stork fly up there, because that was pretty epic. But this new moon in Taurus, what timing, conjunct Uranus, is so very sacred, and this, depending upon where it is in your chart, is going to have a big influence on your own awakening to the divine in your life. And by the divine, I'm talking about Mother Earth divine. There's many different facets of the divine, but when you want to really connect with divinity, you know, from many people's perspective, definitely from my humble perspective, it's easiest to connect to divinity through nature. And so today I'm joining you at one of the most sacred spots that I know. And so where is it in your chart? That's what I want to ask you in this video. I want you to look and see from your ascendant sign, what house is Taurus by whole house system. So if you don't know how to do that, just go to a website like astro.com, astrotheme.com, or if you already know your data and you already know where your ascendant sign is, all you need to look at is an astrology wheel and count starting with the sign of your ascendant. So say you're an Aquarius ascendant, then you would go Aquarius number 1, Pisces number 2, Aries number 3, Taurus number 4. So Taurus would be your 4th house, okay? So wherever that is for you, that is the house that you're going to be having an opportunity, let's say, to experience the divine awakening of this earth at a sacred level, unique to you and your experience in your life, your path, your soul's journey. That's where you're going to find the gem that this new moon is offering us collectively. So if you're, just go with that example, if you're an Aquarius rising and this new moon is happening in your 4th house, it's happening in my 4th house too. I'm not an Aquarius rising, but you know, it's my IC. So anyway, if it's a 4th house cusp, this is going to be tremendous opportunity for you to grow something and awaken something in relationship to the earth with your home. It could be, for me, like my hometown. It could be somewhere really familiar to you, or just your local home environment in your house. You could suddenly find that you're into gardening and that you want to garden this spring and summer. Awesome. That's a thing that can happen for you. This might be happening in your 5th house. You might find that you get pregnant, or like your partner gets pregnant during this period by surprise, because Uranus rules surprise and awakening. There is some divine shift. It depends on your unique house, okay? But there's some divine shift happening at a physical earth plane level and a conscious, from the higher forces of this universe level, because Uranus is the awakener, okay? It's the great awakener. It's angels. It's forces beyond your control. It's lightning. It's like gods, you know, when the gods used to throw down lightning bolts and stuff like that, and people used to revere them for that kind of power. That's what we're talking about right now, and it's happening in the earth sign Taurus, y'all. So if you put 2 and 2 together, Uranus with this new moon in a conjunction this tight, you're gonna feel this energy over the next couple weeks, all the way up until a month from now, and again 6 months from now, when there's a full moon in the sign of Taurus, okay? So there's always cycles at play, and right now I'm bringing you this message because there's a powerful opportunity to cast your magic. There's a powerful opportunity to put your intentions out there for the best possible outcome, for healing, okay, in relation to earth. That is what is happening. There is an opportunity to heal Earth energy in your chart. What house it's in is going to depend on your chart, and it's going to also help you to know that information, because by knowing which house this major event of a new moon conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus, the sign of Earth, the sign of Pachamama, okay, the divine feminine, it's going to provide you a unique opportunity to heal that aspect of yourself in a niche or specific way that's more unique to you. And so I encourage everybody to figure out what whole house the sign of Taurus rules in your chart and do a little bit reflection around the themes of that house. I'll very, very quickly fly through just like the vague themes of each house, and then you can put those puzzle pieces together for yourself based on your ascendant, okay? Before I go into all that, if you find content like this useful, make sure you subscribe to this channel, okay? Because I provide you daily wisdom drops, all sorts of things that are just nuggets of gems in the, heavens that we can talk about and look at and dissect and learn from and grow from. And I'll be shooting a lot more videos from this beautiful land out here, okay? So make sure you're subscribed. But quickly, the house theme, say Taurus is on your first house, that means you're a Taurus ascendant, okay? Mostly we read from the ascendant in instances like this, according to ancient astrology, okay? But with your ascendant being in the first house, that's going to be themes of self, everything involving you. You might find that you have a very deep connection with the earth as it currently stands, and some opportunity out of nowhere comes to you over the next month, and even within a 6-month time frame, 6 months from now. And that's going to be an opportunity to wake up to yourself at a new earthly level of service to the divine goddess and feminine, okay, and planet Pachamama that provides for us all. If it's your second house, then we're talking about food and new divine awakenings and surprises in relationship to your relationship with food. This is purification energy, because the sun is, anytime the sun in astrology is conjunct a planet, it purifies it. It's known by the ancients to burn a planet, and almost after going through that process of being burned, the planet comes out rebirthed and anew. So if it's your second house, you're probably purifying your food. You might even find that you're suddenly intrigued and invested in becoming a vegan, or whole food plant-based diet is probably something calling your name right now. And you might feel like you're awakened to this reality, like, holy guacamole, my body has been craving this and telling me I want this for a while, but all of a sudden it finally makes sense and it seems more attainable and an option, a viable option, okay? Say it's your third house. Then this is something to do with you being more earthly in your local environment with people in your immediate community. It could be siblings, neighbors, even your communications patterns could going through a big awakening. You might find that you're suddenly inspired to do like more earthly communications initiatives at a local level. That could be something that could look like so many different ways, y'all. The third house is like anything communication. So it could be like a local book club you're interested in starting or becoming a part of around environmental themes. You see how I'm putting all that together? That's how you go in astrology. You just put the pieces together, draw the dots, draw the connections. So say it's your fourth house. I already went over that, like home environment, radical shift and awakening to new levels of connection with the earth and the home, especially at an IC at a fourth house cusp. You're going to be experiencing that energy dramatically around earthly things like gardening, very likely, farming, very likely, bringing plants into the home environment. Okay, more plant medicines, very, very likely. Fifth house, your projects, as I already said, your children. You might have a child that is an earth sign out of nowhere. You might find you conceive, and that's something that manifests for you at the earthly level as a surprise. Very Taurian, very earthly. Also passion projects, businesses, because the fifth house rules businesses being like representations of our children. They're kind of like passion projects, right? You put in a lot of energy into that and you let it grow over time, similarly to a child. So you might find, like me, I have a landscaping company. I might have some big surprise come up in the next couple of weeks or a month or within a 6-month time frame because of that. It can rule awakenings around these sorts of things, those surprises and awakenings, okay? Opportunity is really what I like to focus on with astrology, because in any situation, whether it's easy or challenging, you have an opportunity, right? That's the spiritual, perspective. And then say it's in your 6th house, probably a lot of plant medicine, probably waking up to a lot of plant medicines, a lot of dealing with prevention-based healing, prevention-based health and wellness, because the 6th house in ancient astrology actually rules illness more than it does healing. But in modern astrology, we regard the 6th house as more of a form of healing. So looking at more of like plant medicines and stuff for that type of support in your life can be a thing. Also, like randomly getting issues with like the throat or your voice, either within the next couple weeks to a month or 6 months from now, because Taurus rules the vocal cords and the throat. Okay, so just be aware if it is in your 6th house that you're experiencing this Taurus new moon energy conjunct Uranus. Be aware and maybe take some of those preventative plant-based healing measures, because you're going to find at this moment in time, friends, that is the most beneficial way for you to interact with that energy, and probably really effective for you to like help you heal and prevent any issues. Just a word, you know. Next is your 7th house, so partnerships. You're probably experiencing, you could even find a soulmate in this time frame I keep mentioning of 1 month, 2 weeks from now, 1 month from now, and 6 months, again, 6 months from now. You're going to be experiencing some awakening in relationship to your social people, your contacts. It could be business partners, it could be a soulmate, it could be just like somebody who comes out of nowhere and changes your whole life, because there's a Uranus energy at play, okay? And that's something for you to consider if you're a Scorpio ascendant. Now moving along, if it's your 8th house, okay, Taurus, this new moon with Uranus could be like a really intense loss, unfortunately, or crisis that actually leads you to something better, fortunately, because Uranus is the divine awakener, and anytime you experience a loss, as Scorpio energy knows, even though if it's your 8th house, you're not a Scorpio, but just referring back to that 8th house association because it's the 8th sign of zodiac, you know, there's an opportunity present. So there's an opportunity within some type of surprise, some type of loss. There's some deep psychological transformation happening for you out of nowhere, if nothing else. If this is Taurus is your 8th house and this new moon, okay? If it's your 9th house, you could find that you get a random connection from somewhere across the world, some kind of like foreign energy that comes into your life and changes your whole situation and just helps you awaken to new levels of consciousness, new levels of information, new cultural relevance that you weren't aware of before. And it could be like higher education and academia opportunities come to you like this, and they're life-changing and you never expected it. Okay, that could be a 9th house thing. If it's your 10th house, your career is going to have some divine awakening, and this is honestly a really powerful aspect to have happening at your 10th house cusp. So your whole career and public life and how you go about presenting yourself out in the world could be due for a dramatic awakening and shift and change around environmental themes, because this new moon energy conjunct Uranus is happening in the sign of Taurus. And if that's your 10th house as is, you're probably in some way, shape, or form a business person as it is, because Taurus is the sign of business. But business about what? Under this influence with Uranus, the divine awakener there, business about the earth in a way that's simpatico with the earth, something that's not going to hurt the earth, something that's in alignment with the mother, okay, with the planet. If it's your 11th house, expect these dramatic, unexpected events and shifts to happen in relation to your networks and people you know. It could be your larger friend groups, it could be larger networks that you're a part of, larger like social groups that you're a part of, and also your dreams. You might find that you have like a really divine awakening out of nowhere to your dreams that you actually have for your life, your highest aspirations. That's the 11th house. 11th house is dreams come true energy. So Uranus already has an 11th house association, and then you go ahead and make this in your 11th house, you're bound to have some interesting, fun experiences, friends. So I hope that you really go along for that ride. Go with the flow, not against it, okay? And it's going to serve you. Trust and believe. Number 12, if this is your 12th house, okay? If Taurus is your 12th house, expect some transformations to be happening at a deep subconscious level. Some deep, out of nowhere, like genius events could come to you in your sleep or meditative states. I know if you're a Gemini, you might not be like all that into meditating, but if you do meditate, you're going to have some pretty trippy, cool revelations come to you, I would anticipate. And by revelations, I mean like bursts of truth that you weren't aware of previously, that were like hidden from yourself previously. And that's kind kind of the awakening energy that you can anticipate happening. But the awakening for you all is through a place of retreat and isolation, and kind of like, that's why I say sleep, because sleep is also part of that, right? Okay, those are all the houses. So the concluding statement is that you want to go with the surprises that come your way during the influence of this energy. You want to work with what the spirit, what the force, what the planet is bringing up for you. Whatever's coming up for you, it will be a surprise. Whether it's within 2 weeks time, 1 month time when we have another new moon, okay, 2 weeks time because it's a full moon, okay, or 6 months from now when there's a full moon in the sign of Taurus where the new moon is currently happening. Go with the flow. Whatever surprise comes up, whatever out of nowhere thing comes up, even if it's a loss, even if it's something that seems really crappy and shitty at first experience of that interaction with the energy, pay attention to what the earth is calling you to do, because the earth is connected to this new moon. Taurus, Uranus, new moon, this is literally Mother Earth speaking to you. And whatever you're going through now, it is for a higher reason. The more you tap into that understanding and the more you walk in that light of that understanding, no matter how dark the shadows are around you, you, my friend, will prosper. You will benefit, and you will come through this more authentic, more liberated, because Uranus is the planet of liberation and freedom and awakening, okay, than you ever were before. So I hope this video served you. Again, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, because I provide you lots of daily awesome content like this. And if this video did provide you some type of beneficial service, please hit the like button and even consider sharing it with a friend. I really appreciate all forms of support. And if you want a reading from me, I will say I provide a pretty good astrology reading, if I may humbly say. I really enjoy looking at people's charts and helping them advance through their lives to accomplish their goals and become more authentically in their own self, and really just kind of you know, liberated to your authentic identity. And that's who I serve in my readings. I serve the divine, and I serve the divine within you. So if you're interested in a reading with me, just go ahead and DM me on the Instagram or reach out on YouTube. You can just put a comment if you're interested in learning more, or better yet, just directly to my inbox, WizdomDropz, that's all Z's, @gmail.com, and I'll be sure to get back to you with my current rates and specials that I have going. So with that said, friends, enjoy this beautiful planet, enjoy this beautiful new moon, cast your intentions, put your positive energy out there, be receptive to the divine, because she is speaking. And with that said, may the stars be with you. Peace.